Welcome, everybody. It is episode 73 of the Mullins Over Music Podcast with the positive vibed scientist musician, Mark Winters. I know you guys are going to love this positive, fun chat that we have. Go ahead, check it out. Mullins Over Music Podcast, episode 73. Welcome, everybody, to the Mullins Over Music Podcast. I'm your host until something takes it over, like a robot, probably. Austin Mullins. And I'm here with the great Mark Winters. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
Hey Austin, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. I'm on the amazing weather roller coaster of Houston, right? It was like 30 degrees and now it's 80 degrees and you gotta just enjoy the ride in crazy Houston and our weather.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The weather here has been pretty crazy too in North Carolina. Um, been kind of cold consistently recently, but I can't complain too much. It'll be 90 degrees probably next week. Well, of course, we start off with my favorite question. I'll probably say that about 6 times today. Uh, the fun fact question. Give me a fun fact about yourself.
Fun fact, I really love living, I don't know, mostly a healthy lifestyle. I run, I rollerblade, I surf, I sing. I generally find the positive vibes, and I don't have many vices. But a fun fact about me is if you put a tub of dark chocolate gelato in front of me, I'm liable to eat the entire thing. I can't stop myself. It's the only thing that just is so addictive for me. I just can't stop. So keep me away from your gelato.
Hey, gelato is really good, so I totally understand. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and I never tasted it. And my wife got like one of those little small clear pints of
yeah.
dark chocolate gelato. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. And so I took a bite. And next thing I know, I'd eaten my wife's entire pint. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's like never happened to me with anything before. So yeah, now she makes fun of me for being the consumer of all gelato.
Hey, it could be worse. It could be
Yeah.
worse.
I could have worse habits for sure.
Yeah. Now, of course, our next question is the fun question. And I figure since it is the time of the Olympics at the moment, I'd ask this question. What's an Olympic sport that doesn't exist but should?
An Olympic sport that doesn't exist, but it should. Um, wow, that's a great question, man.
I've
That
had
makes
some
me.
interesting ones.
um, yeah, I think there are some sports that do exist that shouldn't exist,
Oh yeah, for sure.
but there's plenty of those. I can't quite figure out the whole ice thingy with the puck and the broom. What's that?
Yeah, the what is it called?
What is it? Curling. It's curling.
Curling.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is curling a sport? I just don't know. But which one that should exist that doesn't? I don't know. Maybe hiking. I love national forest hiking, and it seems like there's so much amazing joy and spotlight that could be shined on just being out in the world and having some type of a hiking competition. I'm not sure how you would make it a competition. Maybe it's a how to keep everybody sort of you know lined up in some way where there's some collaborative element to it. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Olympic hiking through your national forest. I don't know.
I
That would
like
be
it.
my thought.
Okay. I like it. Now, do you remember one year they'd had break dancing as a
As a
Olympic sport?
competition.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not remember that, but you know what? I come down with that. I did I recently did a friend of mine who's a pastor for the prison systems invited me out for a holiday, and of all things, so I'm the musical director with the choir, the church band, which was pretty
Yeah.
phenomenal. And we got 300 guys, and it's the holidays, and so we're singing a few holiday songs, and we get to Feliz Navidad, and we drop all the
Okay.
instruments out, and there's 300 men singing a cappella Feliz Navidad. And when we get to the second verse, the pastor invites up three guys to break dance while we're
Okay.
singing Feliz Navidad a cappella. It was pretty amazing. They were really good, and the vibe of all these voices singing together, and the mojo was just there. And so I can see breakdancing, man. It's got some good vibes, you know.
Yeah, it was so it was the country, I think it was the last Olympic Games.
Okay.
The country gets to pick one sport to add for the year, and then the Olympic Committee can keep it or not. And that's what they chose was breakdancing.
Who won the breakdancing? Which country won the breakdancing competition? I'm
That's a good
curious now.
question. Let's see. Olympic. I mean, we have to find out now.
We got to know.
Breakdancing. Uh, it was at the 2024 Summer Olympic Games. Following a successful debut at the 2018 Summer Youth Olympic Games in Buenos Aires. Um, there was a boys and a girls event. So two people won.
Okay.
Uh, let me see here. There were 33 break dancers from 16 nations, and Canada won one, and Japan won the other.
What? Japan
Yeah,
won a breakdancing competition? Okay. All right. Well, I would never have picked Canada and Japan to win the breakdancing competition, but hey, rock and roll, guys.
yeah. I mean, and then the silver went to France and Lithuania,
Okay.
and then the bronze went to US and China.
Wow. I would, I just wouldn't have picked any of those people. I would have picked cultures that have a little more innate rhythm, but hey, it's all good, man.
Yeah, I mean, interesting, interesting thing to note. And that was the only time that they did it. Hi, Remy.
Hello, kitty
Hi.
cat. What's your cat's name, Austin?
So that's Remy, and then Nugget's standing right here.
Okay. Remy and Nugget.
Wait, no. That was Nugget. Remy standing right here next to me.
Okay. We've got a Tribble and a Bezoar as our
Okay.
cats. And then we have two dogs, one named Radar and the other one named Nadia.
There was a dog named Radar and something. What was it?
I don't know. My wife, she volunteers at the shelter often. And so we have, they're typically pound puppies. He came to
Yeah.
us. I mean, he's a shepherd and
Okay.
husky as a mix. A
Yeah.
big old boy, kind of reminds me of a linebacker. And he's like constantly pinging the radar, man. If anybody comes around the house, dude, he's like on it.
Yeah. My cats are kind of like that. If they hear something, they'll be like, huh? Who? Somebody's at the door. Let me go see. They always know when I'm home too. I don't know how they know that.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have really enjoyed having our fur babies.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, let's move on to some fun music questions.
All right.
Now, I like to think of this as your superhero origin story for music. So, I want you to take me as far back as you want to really when you really got into music, started falling in love with it, and bring me to where you are today.
Yeah. So I would say um, you know, music has always moved me emotionally. I can remember, as a kid being at my grandparents' house or my my parents' house, and music was always sort of going. I love just the more emotive music is, the more it just sticks with me. And so I think growing up, when I was in school, I had a lot of friends who were musicians. I loved just being a listener and being moved by music when I work out or when I'm doing a thing, right? If I'm out, rollerblading or surfing or, riding motorcycles, or I always want the soundtrack that goes with the thing, right? To really help deepen the moment for me.
Okay.
And so I would say it was super movement oriented for me emotionally. But I wasn't ever a musician. I didn't do anything musical myself until 2011. I'll call it the Great Emergence, when I found my superpowers.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do a thing musically, and I never did it. And I finally put it on my list to sing a song for my wife for our anniversary. And so I found a local guitar shop, and I got the guy to teach me to play a song and sing it. And I surprised my wife at our favorite Italian restaurant. We sat down for anniversary, and I'm like, oh, I forgot something. And I went back out to my car and grabbed my guitar and came in, and she's like, what are you robbing the place? Is that like a machine gun or something? Like, nope, it's a guitar. I'm about to sing you a song. So I would say, if I'm thinking superhero-ish, like, I've got this, spinning atom in my core, and all of a sudden it becomes supercharged, and I share this song with my wife, and the emotional connection just washes over me and sort of unlocks the side of my brain that is the creative, emotive side. I've been a poet my whole life and a painter and whatever, so I had some artistic elements, but I just never, the level of energy and just connection just became tenfold as I was singing this song to her. I'm like, oh my God, where has this been my whole life? I gotta do this thing, right?
Yeah.
And then the backstory, the superhero backstory, I gotta be like, I gotta go train and learn. And so I'm like doing all this training and learning, teaching myself to play and sing and write and compose. And I really started finding my stride in 2018. I kept changing the lyrics to everybody's song that I was singing. Like, okay, I should probably stop doing that and write my own stuff. And so I started writing my own music in late 18 and put out an album in 19. I think the villains took over during COVID, and they were sort of robbing me of all my mojo, like everyone else. And then coming out of COVID, I became much more serious in 22 and 23, and started touring in 24. And I'm all about being out and sharing all this positive energy. I think about myself as sort of, being a proton in the world, right? With my science background, I'm sharing all this positive energy, and I'm trying to, let some of that rub off on people who come out to a show with me. Find your moment to be, positive and create some energy in the world that's positive. So I have this little bit of science thing going on and some positive energy, and then I'm a poet, right? So my music has a lot of poetry in it, and so I'm just sort of creating these waves out in my Good Vibes Highway tour around the North America, really, the U.S. and Canada, and that's my superhero origin story and where I am, Austin.
I love it. Well, let's expand a little bit. Tell me about your background in rocket science, aerospace engineering, that sort of area. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So, Austin, I love math and science. My brain's always sort of been at war, the poet and the painter, and now the musician, and, the love for math and science. And so coming out of school, I wasn't a musician yet. That might have set a different course for me, but math and science was sort of my greatest love at that point. And I love applied physics. So in the world of aerospace engineering, there's the orbital mechanics people who study space travel and heavenly body movement. And then there's the people who study computational fluid dynamics or movement in an atmosphere or in a fluid.
Yeah.
And so my love is the movement in an atmosphere or the fluid. It's super mysterious. Even the best AI still can't solve all the equations. There's a lot of things you have to sort of guess at. And so I love computational fluid dynamics. I love, I love how particles interact with object wings and surfaces and engines and thermodynamics. And so I have this great love for applied physics. As a matter of fact, when I'm seeing the world, my wife would tell you I'm overly scientific, right? I'm like, okay, here comes, lights shining through the window. I'm like, oh, it's refracting, and the spectrums and the frequencies that I'm looking for are 300 kilohertz or what. She's like, turn the science brain off, please.
And she's like, I'm going to close the window.
Yeah, exactly. Put the poet back on, please. I want to hear that guy. So I did practice aerospace engineering for a bit. I was involved in some helicopter designs and some jet designs and some simulator designs. And I really enjoyed it. I just didn't find the creativity and the people to be as engaging as I would hope, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I started, and I noticed early on, that I love that interaction. I love some elements of business as well, and so I just didn't find that in the pocket that I was in aerospace.
Yeah. Okay. Now, tell me how you sort of infuse your best of both worlds into one really cool thing, because your music does shine both of your creative and your sort of science brain together, and it makes some pretty cool music.
Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. I think my early in my writing, like my first album, called Slipstream, which the title of it is a scientific concept, and it's also a poetic concept. And if you can imagine, a bunch of birds flying or a bunch of cyclists in the Olympics in a pack riding, why do they rotate around? What's the purpose of that? Well, the purpose of that is like the front guy in the slipstream quote, you can pretend he's creating a shield of pressure in front of him. Yeah. And so he's fighting hard, like 20% harder or whatever than the people behind him. And so he's putting more effort into going 20 miles an hour than the guy behind him. He's riding in the pocket or the slipstream behind the guy. And so when I made my first album, I named it as a nod because the people that my producer and the people I work with in the studio, they were all amazing people. And I felt like the whole time I was riding in the slipstream behind all these great people who were helping me breathe life into my project. When I get to like a song, how my songs come together, my one of the title track or the track from that song, from that album, is called Boundary Layer. And Boundary Layer is sort of, I felt like I was breaking through boundaries in my own mind and my own life, right, by moving into this artistic phase. And so philosophically, the poet in me could write about breaking boundaries lyrically. Putting those into a melody was a bit harder because I wasn't a native musician. And so I was sort of learning a little bit about, the difference between poetry and melody and lyric. I was sort of learning. And then the science mind in me, because I love this juxtaposition of science and philosophy or poetry, the science of it in computational fluid dynamics, you have a particle that's moving through the air or fluid, and it's approaching the object that is in front of it. Let's say it's a wing surface, And as it's getting close to the wing, it starts entering the boundary layer of the wing. And as it enters the boundary layer of the wing, it hits turbulent flow and some other forces. Most of the time, it'll slow down as it breaks through, and then it'll find extra energy on the other side of the boundary layer, and it'll shoot out in a new direction, right? And so it's very much like philosophically, when we're breaking through a boundary, all this resistance, and then you get to the other side of it, you're like, oh, okay, I can go in a new direction now. I've got new energy. And so just finding how science and philosophy overlap, and then I've got to make it relatable, right? So, the song, pushing at the supersonic speed, I can see what I need. I'm going faster and higher, breaking through. I believe in me, right? I'm just going in my new direction, right? We find our limits when we're young, right? That's all part of the theme there. And so just finding, and I find myself often, I'm overly scientific, and I have to dial that back a lot because I was a scientist first, I guess, before a songwriter. And so just learning to make my songs more relatable. I have some great resources around me. I'm a part of this Houston Songwriting Association, and
that's awesome.
I have some other songwriting mentors. And so I can bring a song to a session with my peers and see how it lands with them, and they can tell me where to dial it back to make it more relatable,
Yeah. Well, your album really fits during the Olympic time. I mean, slipstreams, those are very important in various Olympic things.
Yeah.
It's a very Olympics vibe today, to be honest. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it was a Super Bowl vibe for a while, and then and now it became the Olympics. I do write about some other other things that sort of have a technology element to them. I was thinking about one of my newer releases is a song called Velocity.
Which fantastic song.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wrote that one. Here I am driving along on my tour in the spring between Portales, New Mexico, and Santa Fe. And I'm on this 4-lane highway through the mountains doing my thing and sort of daydreaming. Got the cruise control on. I have a small SUV and a small trailer that I tow for my tour. And so I'm doing my thing. And all of a sudden my car starts slowing down. And it kind of takes me out of my reverie. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Right. You were in this mode and now you're out of it. I'm like, all right. I take the cruise control off. I'm kind of trying to figure out what's going on. I hit the accelerator a little bit. I'm still slowing down. Is there something wrong with my car? I don't know. I push a little more gas, listen to the engine. Right. I'm in a windstorm. I had no idea. We have hurricanes in Houston, and usually you're inside for that. You don't drive in those. So I'm not sure what it feels like to drive in a hurricane. But in a windstorm, my car and the trailer were just being owned by nature, right? It was like 40 miles an hour was the fastest I could drive. Flooring your car in the windstorm is probably not the best way to drive in a windstorm. So I had to sort of, life's pushing against, this is what my feeling was. I need to be in Santa Fe for a show. I'm chasing my dream here, and the world is conspiring to fight against me, right? And pushing on me here. And I'm like, okay, find your Zen space, take a few breaths, ride the highs, face the lows, the winds, they turn, they never slow, right? And keeping my velocity is harder than it seems, right? The wind is always pulling me to the edge of my sanity, right? But I can overcome the current. And I thought, about the love and support from my family and my friends, and how that was really helping me keep my fuel moving and keep my velocity moving. But that's the origin of the story. And it's I ask everybody, is velocity too nerdy of a term, right? They're like, no. So another overlap. And apropos, probably to the Olympics if you're doing anything speed oriented and you're running into a headwind,
Yeah.
it's probably a tough situation to be in.
I always think of bobsledding when I think of like fighting against like getting speed as fast as you can, but you're fighting against wind and stuff.
Yeah, I've never bobsled. Have you ever bobsled,
I've
Austin?
never bobsledded myself, but it does look fun. I think I could do it once.
I'm down for that. I love pretty much anything like that. I love surfing, rollerblading, snowboarding. I've done downhill biking, mountain biking, and whatever. Yeah, race motorcycles. I love the turn, I love the feel, the G of a turn, right? So
Yeah.
anything that's got
Okay.
that in there, man, I'm all about that.
Yeah. I like that. Well, let's expand a little bit. Let's get a little deeper into your music here. This is my favorite question. It might be your favorite question. It might be like, oh, this is a very difficult question. But I like this question, and you'll see why. What is your favorite song you've written and why? And what is your least favorite song you've written and why?
Ooh,
I know.
okay.
The least favorite always gets people. I'm like, don't think of it as a song you dislike, though. Think of it, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you got a tier list, of course. Something's got to be at the top, something's got to be at the bottom. It is how it is. Doesn't mean you love the song or hate, love the song any less or you hate the song.
Yeah, I would say my favorite song that I've written um, is Speed of Light. Um,
Good one.
it's a super, to me, I wrote the song about the theory of relativity and Einstein. And, he sort of theorized his theory of relativity while he was riding his bike and noticing the relative difference in perspective as he was riding by a person on his bike, or if he was watching a person ride by him. And that's kind of how he thought of the theory of relativity. And in my mind, you know, I wrote it at a time where is my project going anywhere? I'm writing music. I'm putting it out to the world. Is it you know am I progressing? Am I getting my message out? Am I connecting with people, which is my goal? And I got to thinking about relativistically. If you are watching yourself ride by on a bicycle, you are moving at the speed of light, but you just don't feel like you are because you're sort of in the moment and you feel like everything's just like moving in this really slow pace. The
Yeah.
song opens up, my bicycle seems to slow. you know um I'm watching the rust grow, riding the same road every day with nowhere to go, right? It's like I feel like I'm in this super slow motion thing, right? And then on top of that lyric and melodic idea, I wrote this polyrhythm. And so I've got this rhythm to the song that has two rhythms inside of it,
Yeah.
right? And I have to make it flow, but it's got this polyrhythm, doom dee doom dee doom dee doom dee doom doom, right? So I've got this element going on in there, and so I really, to me, I, you know, commercially, the song wasn't as successful as other songs that I've released, but
Sure.
I love playing it. I love being in the moment of the song, and so it's probably my favorite song that I've written.
Okay.
um yeah, and it's got a good strong science and poetic core to it, so for me, I like that song.
Of course.
I love playing it live. um on the other side of the fence, the song that I don't like, uh it's the feeling of the song that makes it come to mind. And
Okay.
um I have this I just released a song. It's called Let It Rain.
Yes.
Um, uh, and I wrote it because some friends and I were talking about, things that have happened to us in our lives. And we sort of got deep into conversation and realized that both of us had um, brothers who had committed suicide.
Okay.
And, I told, you know, my story. And as I was telling my story, my friend was like, yeah, I feel those same things. It's like, what could I have done differently to be there for my brother? What could I have done to help him love himself more and to be, still be a part of the world? And I feel this overwhelming sense of guilt and remorse that I just wasn't there in a way that I should have or could have been. And my friend was like, man, you got to write a song about that, right? The two of us are feeling this, and just talking about it is super helpful for me. And he said, it'll be helpful for you to write it and to help yourself process it. And also for other people, who are going through similar things or have gone through it, to help them. So reluctantly, because writing from a sense of positivity and self-improvement, to me is super natural. And these more difficult emotional journeys are more difficult for me to write about and to share. And so I've performed it live once thus far, and I'm about to perform it more during my tour. And I'm not looking forward to that because it makes me cry every time I play it. But it's touching people in a way that I think is helpful. And that's part of my journey too, is to help people find, a positive direction in the world and in life. And I think, so that's my least favorite because it's painful for me to share it and play it.
That's a great answer, by the way. That you took that question in a good direction.
Thank you.
Well, let's expand upon let's look a little further out. Let's look at what inspires you. So I'm gonna put a little twist on this influences question. So you got five, but three of them are musical and two of them are non-musical.
Okay, so 3 influences that are musical and 2 that are not musical.
Yes.
Okay, so I learned to play guitar playing John Mayer songs. Love his groove. I love his blues elements and his influences. A lot of his early work, just cool rhythmically and everything else. I'd say he's a big influence in the way in which I play my guitar and interpret music through the guitar. I like his lyrics. A lot of times are very introspective, also. But so I'd say he's an influence of mine. Jason Mraz has this core, especially his early stuff, not his electric stuff or whatever, but his early stuff. I won't give up on you, or you're I'm yours, or whatever. That era of Jason Mraz has such a great groove and quirky happiness to it, right? I love how it just lifts me up, right? You're not gonna listen to a Jason Mraz song and sort of be down in that quirky element. He's got such a great sense of groove, and the way he delivers his lyric, I love that element. And so he's an influence of mine in that regard. And then I would say, my grandparents loved, Tom Petty. He says things in ways that are super simple and relatable. And I aspire to do that. I'm a little less relatable, and I aspire to be able to communicate those simpler ideas in a way that brings a connection. So I would say those are my 3 musical connections. The non-musical influences, I would say my grandmother, Dean C. Winters, was a big influence in my artistic life. When there's four boys in my family, we used to stay with my dad's parents in the summer, and my mom's parents as well, and my dad's parents. Uh, his mom, Dean C. Winters. I don't know. When I was 5, I remember, being in a house full of boys. I think they had an 1,800 square foot house in East Texas, right? And so we're like rambunctious, running amok, and she was finding ways to keep us productive. And I sort of woke up from a spell and found myself in her sewing room, writing poetry with her. That's a very cute picture, by the way, of you and your cat. That is awesome. Yeah. So I was writing about lilies, a poem about lilies, and we would often find ourselves together writing poetry. As I got older, and painting. She taught me to paint with watercolors and to express myself through words. And so I would say she is my second non-musical. She was not a musician at all. Yeah. Nobody in my family really was. Yeah, so that was my second, or I guess my first non-musical influence. I would say, maybe my third influence is a writer named Troy Dennings. He writes a bunch of fantasy novels and sci-fi novels. And
I've heard that before.
Yeah, the Crystal Shard trilogy and some Star Wars stuff and whatever, so fantasy and sci-fi. And
he wrote a Halo book.
He may have. He's such a great writer.
Yeah.
He really can write about just about anything. But I first ran into him, in that Crystal Shard trilogy, and just loved his writing, his imagery, his ability to immerse me in a story. And then he wrote, other things that I read. And so I'd say, maybe I read and read often and love his writing and how immersive it is. And so he might be my third creative inspiration.
Did you know that he wrote a Disney's Kim Possible book? He wrote 3.
What?
I had no clue. I've heard his name before, and I remember it from his Star Wars books and his Halo books.
His Star Wars series was phenomenal. What was it, New Jedi Order? I think he wrote.
Yeah, he wrote quite a few.
If you read that story, it's so amazing. Now, I think the Star Wars franchise decided to go a different direction from the way he wrote that New Jedi Order series.
Very true.
Just a phenomenal storyline that he created. I loved, all of it. It was really, really awesome.
The Darkness trilogy was my favorite.
Okay.
And yeah, he did Legacy of the Force too.
Yeah.
This man knows how to write for sure.
Yeah, he's pretty phenomenal.
But I had no idea he did Kim Possible. That's
I got to go check it out now. I don't know.
That's an odd one out. He's got all these fantasy novels and sci-fi novels, and you got Kim Possible.
That's pretty funny. I did not know that. I still think highly of him, even if he wrote Kim Possible.
Oh no! In fact, I think more highly of him for having written a Kim Possible book.
Yeah, that's pretty phenomenal.
Okay. Those are some great influences. Now, I want to expand a bit more into the realm of other people's music. I like this question, but I call it the guilty pleasure in music question. So don't necessarily think of it as music you're embarrassed to let people know that you listen to. Unless you are, then I need to hear that. But I like to think of it as music people don't think that you typically listen to.
I have a super broad listening palette. I pretty much anything that's got a strong emotional content to it just attracts me. So I love the Three Tenors, right? Yeah. And they have Pavarotti in particular is my favorite tenor. And so, do I speak Italian? No. Do I love his music and where it takes me?
Of
Yes.
course.
The same thing can be said for the Gypsy Kings. I love the vibe and how Una Moore has such an amazing composition. I love that song from the Gypsy Kings. Um, you know, I'm not sure if I'm not really embarrassed by anything, but I have such an eclectic taste. Like I love Zamfir and the panpipe album he put out. Otmar Liebert has a beautiful album that I love. Um, I love Soundgarden and Chris Cornell, and
Yep.
especially his acoustic stuff.
Yeah.
Larry Fleet, I love his couple of his songs. Where I found, and a lot of them, it's like, there's some songs on YouTube that I listen to that just there's some magic in the performance that takes me back to them and to those acoustic performances. Where I find God is one that Larry Fleet and Morgan Wallen did a duet on, right? And it's just a phenomenal live performance. It's just the two of them, one guitar, two voices, really, really phenomenal. I'm sort of all over the place. Disturbed, did the Sound of Silence. Yes. Yeah, just something magical about that, right?
What an interesting take on that song, by the way.
Yeah, I loved it. What a phenomenal. Benson Boone, I love Beautiful Things, right? That's just a phenomenal song, right? I'm sort of all over the map. A fun fact, I played a show with Benson Boone. We did the music. There was a pre-show for Jingle Ball in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And David Kushner was the headliner for the pre-show. Then Benson Boone.
David Kushner.
Then Gunner, which is a rock act out of LA, and then my band was there. And Benson Boone was so nice. He and his buddies were all sitting around playing Settlers of Catan and hanging out, and he was just super cool to talk to and super nice. I'm eclectic, man. I'm all over the place, Austin.
I like it. I dig it, man. Really, Settlers of Catan. I would have never expected Benson Boone to be a Settlers of Catan man.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never played it myself, funny enough.
Yeah, we did. We played it once for a family game night. But it's a little more.
Did it become a family game weekend because of how long those games?
Yeah, they're kind of long. Yeah. We found shorter games that made more sense for the family game nights. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's bring it back around. Let's talk about your music. I want to hear how a song comes. I want to deep dive a little more into how a song comes from just a little tingle in your mind to a full-fledged, fully realized song out to the world.
Yeah. For me, the songs are always starting as an emotion, right? Something that I'm feeling. Like, I wrote a song, about this feeling that I was having with my grandmother. I was doing something, and I'm a very, assertive person and sure of myself, and right. So I'm kind of more, I've got a lot of steam, right, to do a thing. And my grandmother, would always tell me, two things: take a breath and feel the world, and don't make the lines too sharp. So one was when I had, like, we were just sitting and I'm just getting too amped up. She's like, take a breath, feel the world. You'll find your way, bro. Okay. It's all
Yeah.
good. And then the other one was when I'm, like I paint left-handed, impressionistically, and I do, you know, precise drawing with my right hand.
Okay.
And well, my brain's mixed up. So I have all this, competing forces in there. But, if I would do something with my left hand that was supposed to be impressionistic, but I made the lines too sharp,
Yeah.
right? So it became not impressionistic. It was too defined. She would
Yeah.
tell me, "Hey, man, don't make the lines too sharp, right? You'll miss your way, right? You're not going to find the thing, right? The beauty of the impressionistic creation." And so I was doing something, and I had the thought of making the lines too sharp, and then I also had too much of a head of steam. I'm like, uh, I really hear my grandmother, um, and she's no longer with me,
Yeah.
but I heard her voice like loud and clear telling me the thing, and I'm like, okay, that's 2 or 3 times now I've heard her voice talking to me in a moment. And she's got to be still up there talking to me, and so it made me start thinking about how I hear her voice, and I wrote a poem uh, about hearing her voice. And as I sort of started walking my way through that, I sat down with a friend of mine, Joanna Ensley. We were in Austin writing some songs together. And she's like, "Oh, that's a beautiful sentiment." And she's a beautiful melody writer. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, well, I'd love to make this a song, right? Because I'd love to pay tribute to my grandmother." And so she and I took my poem and wrote a nice melody, went with it. I made a little guitar hook, and I made some Hendrixy riffs,
Of course.
and took those back to my producer. Um, and so, uh, song starts off, I hear your voice in the words I say and the laughter of my son, which his laugh reminds me of her, right?
Yeah.
Um, your wisdom was freely shared and troubles could be undone. I mean, it's a very kind of grandmotherly vibe that I got cooking for that, right?
Sure.
And so as I'm sort of walking through the creation of the song, then I'm really trying to, you know, emote that feeling that I've got that
Yeah.
is my grandmother sort of talking to me. And I think other people is relatable to my friend Joanne Ensley. She had people in her life, maybe it wasn't her grandmother, but other mentors in their life who are still, they hear their words and their feelings still in the presence. And so I take that, usually with my guitar to a demo, and then I'll take that to my producer and say, okay, here's here's the demo, here's what I'm thinking. And I have two amazing producers who co-produce a lot of my work, or individually produced for me. And, they're super awesome at helping me take the raw guitar vocal track and lyrical track and find the most beneficial way to create the full track that shares the thing.
Yeah.
Uh, and so then we go into production and do the thing, man. And then
Do the
the song is
thing.
born.
Yeah. Hey, I like that. Well, I think it's time we move on to one of the fun, I call this semi-rapid fire questions
Okay.
because they're supposed to be rapid fire questions. It never ends up that way. So this is a fun one. What's something you're still learning about yourself as an artist?
I would say how to let some of those more painful emotions out and do it in a way that is authentic but not harmful to me.
Yeah, that's a that's really good actually. Now this next one is, what is a music trend like a current music trend that you just don't understand?
Um,
I always use 8-track cassettes making a comeback. People started putting music on 8-track cassettes again. Don't understand it.
yeah, I would say, you know, I don't understand, uh, a lot of the sh the shallowness of some of the lyrical compositions. I guess I'm
Yeah.
too much of a lyricist, right? And so when I listen to some songs, it's like, okay, you know, so the melody's catchy and one of the words in the chorus is catchy, but what does the song really say? I don't
Yeah.
understand that. But yeah, I'm more of a lyricist. I guess lyrics matter to me.
Yeah, of course. Now, what is something you hope people feel when they hear your music live?
I hope people find a way to see the world in a more positive way, um, a way to, find inspiration or maybe a little bit different perspective to look at the world or people that they meet in the world, that they can find some of those protons,
Yeah.
those hidden protons, and bring them out in their own world and life. If you come to my show, I want you to leave with that, you know, that sense of of wonder and positivity, that the world can be a beautiful place if you look for beauty in it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this next question relates to your painting background.
Okay.
Who are two of your favorite painters?
Ooh, I didn't study painting formally, and so I would say my grandmother and my grandfather
Okay,
were
I
my two
like it.
favorite, because they have different elements that they taught me. But I didn't study art, so I couldn't give you, you know, other people.
I only remember I took art class in elementary school from kindergarten to fifth grade. I had a teacher named Miss Crumb, and we would always do like uh they used to have these videos where it was like part animation, part like looking at their artwork and stuff, and it'd be about a different artist. I wish I could find those videos because they're so good and so interesting. The two that always stuck out to me was Vincent Van Gogh because I love Starry Night. Who doesn't love Starry Night?
Uh-huh.
And I don't know why he popped into my head, but Claude Monet
Okay.
was
Monet's very
there.
impressionistic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Michelangelo would be like a big,
Yeah.
maybe influence because he has some scientific
Yeah, he
elements to the
does.
way he created art, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know why that unlocked a core memory for me. So
If you find
can't
that video,
remember.
share it with me. I'd love to
I
watch it.
will. It's
Yeah.
like it's got a few little bits of comedy too. Like I forget which artist studied bodies, but he would break into tombs and open up like the coffins and study the dead people's bodies. He goes, "Oh, that that
Huh.
that's what that does."
Okay.
Like poking around in it. And it's
That's
all done in
it's crazy.
animation, so it's like fun and silly and for I'm sure it's geared more towards children, but I love those videos.
That's pretty cool.
Well, let's move on to the next fun question. I like this one a lot because I like to see where the artist's head at. What song from your discography should a new listener listen to first?
Um, that's always an interesting one.
I
Um,
mean, besides the newest one, of course, because we like to promote our new music.
ah, ah. um, yeah, it's a good question.
Very sad.
I would say, you know, most people find a lot of my musical elements in the song "Fake Gravity."
Yeah.
Uh, so I'd say that's a good place to start. It's a nerdy little love song that I
Yeah.
wrote with lots of little nerd words, and it's got some pop influences in it. And I think people find a lot of the essence of me in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good one to start with.
I've got a different one actually.
Okay.
It's I think it's a tie for me between velocity and what does it mean to be human.
Okay. Yeah, I would say, what does it mean to be human? I, you know,
Don't-
I wrote that a lot. It's just about the journey for AI, and the scientist mind in me loves it, and the shiny thing, and it can do all these really crazy things. And then the poet and the artist in me is like, oh, well, if it's doing all that, what are you gonna do, Mr.
Yeah.
Human? Right. So it's definitely a narrative on that feeling. Um, but yeah, I think that's thank you for that. That's a fun song, and we talked about velocity. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to pick from all my little babies.
Oh, for sure. 1000%. I mean, it's just so hard when you're like, well, this song is good for this reason, and I think people who are just starting to listen would like this. And then, this one has this element and this element of me that I feel like it really highlights. So
Yeah.
it's always so difficult.
Yeah, and when I'm touring, I'm out as a solo performer. Acoustic me is my live sound, right? And
Yeah.
so, if someone was going to come see a show, I would say, hey, listen to acoustic me. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like this song. This question. This is one of my favorites for sure. What is a song that you didn't write that you wish you wrote? I always do Phil Collins's "In the Air Tonight." It's a
Okay.
good combination of a great song and a great paycheck.
Bam, boom, drop the mic.
Best of
Uh,
both worlds, right?
yeah, yeah. The Scientist by Coldplay.
Ooh,
So it's
you
like
picked a good
me.
one. Okay.
I love Chris Martin, and I have a lot of common thoughts, I guess, from a science point of view.
Yeah.
So he might be a little more successful than I am, but yeah, it's a great song. I love covering it. It feels so authentic when I sing it.
Yeah. I want him on the podcast at some point. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Chris Martin, hit me up.
go, go.
You got my email.
Austin is waiting for you,
I know
brother.
you've read it. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I haven't sent him an email yet. Okay. Well, this one is one of the more funny questions. What is a funny fan or venue moment or show moment?
Ooh, funny. Playing
Yeah.
with some friends of mine, and uh, this dude goes out to his car, comes back, and starts playing the tambourine in the middle of the
Have
show.
one in his car?
who, who has a tambourine in their car, and he
Not
play,
me.
and
That's
it's loud, right? I mean, it's not like it's a loud tambourine, and he's singing along, right? Off key and off time. It was hilarious, and it was like, okay, right in my face, brother. Thank you. Yeah, that was pretty hilarious.
he was feeling the music, but
He was. I couldn't fault that part of it. No.
he was feeling just a different beat from the actual song.
Yes.
Man, I gotta say, whenever I go to a concert and the people are clapping off beat, I go,
Oh,
"Ugh, oh, this
yeah.
hurts. It hurts
That.
so much.
Yes, for
Like
sure.
it's not hard. The bass drum, the
Yeah.
one of the instruments is playing a simple beat. You can do it. I promise.
Yeah,
Hi, son.
for sure.
Okay. Now I like this one a lot because it makes you talk about a song that hasn't made the cut. What's a song from whether it be a single that just didn't make the cut or off of one of your records? What's a song that didn't make the cut and why did it not make the cut?
Um, yeah. So I write often, just so you know.
Yeah.
So I've got, lots of songs that I've written. Since I started writing in 2019. I really got on a tear in 2022, and I've been writing a lot. Um, I would say, um, you know, I, I have a song that uh, it's about um, like just being at peace. Um, and uh, I wrote it with a friend of mine, John Graham, and it's um, it's got a lot of um, elements in it that really feel like me.
Yeah.
Um, and the at the end of the day, it ended up being a little too close to an Eagle song. It's called the song is called "It Was Beautiful," um, but it just got it was.
It
I'm not
flew
sure if
too
there would.
close to the sun.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure that it would have classified as a copyright infringement because I'm not sure that I didn't really analyze it that way. But people who heard it were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that really reminds me of Peaceful, Easy Feeling," right? I'm like,
Okay. Yeah.
okay, I don't want to go there. It still might find its light of day somehow. But yeah, that's the one that didn't get released that I really wanted to.
Okay. Hey, I mean, at least they compared it to a good Eagles song.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
you should definitely take that as a compliment that they're like, oh, it's like this song.
Yeah, for
And,
sure. Yeah. It was a compliment because they're great composers. I even had some good harmonies in it. But
oh
yeah,
yeah. Hey, at least they didn't say, man, this sounds like that crappy song by the Eagles.
that exactly.
Because then you'd be like, oh, okay, I guess I won't be releasing this
Yeah,
song.
that.
Hey, and the Eagles, out of all the bands you could have been compared to, the Eagles is a good one.
Yeah, I completely agree. They have some great music.
Although I will say I prefer Pink Floyd.
Okay.
If I had to compare the two, Pink Floyd would be the better one.
Yeah, I would probably be more in the Eagles camp. But yeah, I think a lot of people I know would be in your camp.
Oh yeah. I don't know. It's the Britishness, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Now, what is a dream collaboration for you? If you could write with anybody, work on a song with somebody, who would it be?
Um, I really think it would be fun to write a song with John Mayer. Um,
I
you
think you
know,
guys could make an awesome song.
yeah, I would love to. I just, he's a great influence of mine. I think that would be super amazing and fun. So yeah, he would be my pick. I just being able to sit down with him for a while and compose. I would wonder what that process would be like. That I
Yeah.
think it would be a lot of fun.
And you could totally pick his brain too.
Yeah,
Like just seeing him write, I'm sure would spark inspiration in general.
yeah, that would be my thought.
Speaking of John Mayer, did you know that he has a guitar plugin now?
I did not know that. I am not really. I can. I know enough about production
Yeah.
to track my vocals and my raw guitar.
Yeah.
Beyond that, my producer does the magic. And so as far as tone plugins and other things, I would give him the raw guitar signal
Of
and then
course.
let him, produce the tone, right?
Yeah. I gotta say, it's an interesting plugin. I wouldn't typically expect it from the company that made it. It's a Neural DSP. They do
Okay.
like they did a plugin for Gojira. So, well, I guess they did one for Tim Henson of Polyphia as well. So
Okay. Well,
that's not too out of the ordinary, I guess, to put John Mayer in there. But
yeah.
it it's pretty. It uses all his tones, his signature heads and stuff. And it's got some cool, like, what is it called? Pedals that he usually uses. I'm like, this is pretty good. And then I look at the price and I go, well, I don't really
Eh,
like it that much.
it's not that good. Yeah.
It sits at $170,
What? Yeah.
which it it will be available to put on your giant quad cortex like amp modeler thing that you can take with you soon. So I guess that helps, but no.
Yeah. That's too much for me.
Hey, but I do get 20% off of this plugin though.
Okay.
So maybe I'll look at it. I'll let you know what I think about it.
Yeah. Playing around with that. I use the Helix Stomp. It's sort of my simple
Oh,
version
okay.
of everything. And when I tour, I play a small pedal board.
Yeah.
I play, I have a Taylor guitar acoustic. I have a Strat, and then I have a small 61 key keyboard. And to me, those are,
61 keys is small.
yeah, it is.
I mean, compared to an 88, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
It's portable. It's super portable, and so I can, you know, I, to me, there's some songs that I compose on the piano that just need to be the piano tone when I'm
Yeah,
playing
of
them
course.
live. But I love. I learned a lot from John Mayer and Ed Sheeran when they did their solo tours, just sort of how to how to keep the audience
Engaged.
ear and
Yeah.
engaged. And so having a little harmonica on a song, having piano on a few songs, having my electric on a few songs where I can play
Yeah.
some lead most of the shows on my acoustic, right? That to me, I learned a lot from the John Mayer solo tour. So
Yeah. Great tours, by the way.
yeah,
Wish they
yeah,
do more.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have any pre-show or post-show rituals that you do? Sort of you're like every time before a show, I'll I have one, for example. Every time before a show, I will go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I don't want to have to use the bathroom while I'm playing mid-set and be thinking about it the entire time.
That's awesome. Yeah, for me, um, I have two. One, uh, I have this 100 breath ritual that I
Okay.
go through, and I breathe in and out, and kind of a meditative-ish vibe.
Yeah.
Um, uh, just it's a mindfulness thing for me, and it's a why am I here thing.
Yeah.
So I'm breathing in, uh, you know, the energy from the room. And then as I'm breathing out, I'm just thinking about giving more energy back to the room that I'm taking in. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm there. And so I go through 100 breaths and it settles me and gets me ready. And so I have a poem. If it's a ticketed show or it's just my show,
Yeah.
um, I read my poem to the crowd
Okay.
just to um, start the evening off in a thankful way.
Yeah.
Um, and then post show, if I'm in Texas, I get myself a big fat Whataburger.
Respect.
That's my
Respect to that.
yeah, that's my post show. I usually don't eat hamburgers, but that's like okay, I played a good show. I'm about to get myself a Whataburger and a chocolate shake. That would be those are my post show thing.
I love it. That's Hey, that's a great post-show ritual. I gotta say.
Yeah, go celebrate. And I purposefully, like if I play a big show with a band or whatever, we always record it for QA purposes, whether or not we, do anything with it.
Yeah.
But I'll never, like if we have a band dinner afterwards or something like that, never anything that's a critique of the show. So always, everybody's just got to be there to celebrate the fact that we played a show and that we had a great time and only happy moments.
Yeah.
We can QA it 3 days later,
Oh yeah.
but live in the moment and be thankful.
I like that. Well, I just started this new question. I think you'd be perfect for this question. So, I'm gonna give you a celebrity. and I want you to tell me what songs you think they would listen to.
Okay, I'm down for
Based
that.
on who they are, their personality, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe some of their roles. I'm thinking, I'm thinking to keep with the Star Wars theme from earlier.
Okay.
Let's do Harrison Ford. Give me like three artists or three songs you think he would absolutely listen to.
Oh, Harrison Ford. Okay. Um, I would say Harrison Ford's going to be BB King.
Okay,
I could
I
see
can
him
do that.
rocking out on some blues. Um, I could say he's going to have a guilty pleasure that he's not going to share with anybody. It's going to be a Cyndi Lauper.
I could totally see that being like a thing. He'd be like, I don't
Yeah,
listen to Cyndi Lauper, and then he'd go
yeah,
into the corner.
that.
Why in the morning sun, my
Yeah,
father. Yeah.
yeah, and then I would say I could see him like as an Eagles fan, so I could see him listening
Yeah.
to some Eagles too. Yeah,
Okay. I like that. That's those are good answers for that. See, I like that question because it gets you thinking about, well, what's this guy like? What
yeah.
you know, good answers. I'm definitely keeping that question around
All right, that was
after
a good
that
one.
answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Well, we're reaching toward the end of the podcast episode, so I have to ask about new music coming out this year that you can share with us. You got any of that?
I do. I do. So I'm releasing another song from my album called The Science in Me. So it's a single. It's called All in the Rhythm, and it releases 4 weeks from Friday. Um, and it's an amazing tune that I wrote out hiking in the national forest with my wife. Um, and it's about staying in the rhythm with the people around you and experiencing life together. It's got a really cool, catchy tone and theme, and it's a lot of fun. I love playing it, and I hope hopefully it connects with a lot of people out there when I'm releasing it here.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Well, the next question is shows. I know you've got a good bit of shows coming up. One close to me, in fact. You're coming to Fayetteville. Tell me
Yes.
about some of these. Tell me about this run of shows.
Yeah, yeah. So I am out on the Good Vibes Highway Tour. I have a kickoff show here in Houston, March 7th. It's at the Armadillo Palace here in Houston, and I'm playing with a lot of my great friends here in town. And then the official tour, uh, you know, uh, has a few stops in front of the Fayetteville tour and date, and then I'm there. On the 26th
Yeah.
of March. And the Good Vibes Highway Tour runs all the way through the end of June. And then I'm home for the summer.
Okay.
And I'm going west on the Good Vibes Highway Tour for the most part. And so I'll finish up, I think, have a show back here. Well, I guess Sioux Falls, Iowa, and then a few shows on the way back to Houston. And then I'm on break for the summer. And then I'm back out again going east. And I'll be touring all the way until the end of November. And then I'll take a break for December, January, and February before I'm out again. So a lot of cool dates. It's
Oh,
a,
for sure.
I love playing, theaters, listening rooms, or beer gardens or wineries that have an affinity for live music,
Yeah.
a little bit of storytelling, and a great positive energy vibe. And so it's I think 110 dates in total for the year, Austin.
I love it. And I hopefully I'll make it out to your Fayetteville show.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see you there.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to make it out. What date did you say that one was?
I think it's the 26th of March.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I've got plenty of time to make it over there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the 26th of March. Yep.
Okay. Well, I will definitely be there.
Nomads Trailside. See you there, man.
Yeah. Well, of course, we have two final questions. The first one is, plug your stuff, plug your socials, your music, and give shout outs. And then I have one last question for you.
Sweet. So you can find my music at markwintersmusic.com. It's streamable and available on all the DSPs. You can also find some merch that has CDs and a vinyl. If you're into the vinyl craze, my acoustic me album is available on vinyl, which sounds phenomenal. The people who did it just did a great job. I'm active mostly on Instagram, although I do have a presence on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. Really looking forward to being out on tour. I'm all about that live energy vibe and connecting with people, and looking forward to have folks come out. You can find under the shows tab on my website the dates and the ticket information.
Which is a nice website, by the way. I gotta
Thank you.
say, I do like the website.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Now, our final question. This is the most important question of the podcast, and that is, what song from your discography do you want to have as the outro track for the episode?
The outro track for the episode. I'd love for you guys to play Fake Gravity. As I mentioned, that's probably a good intro for everyone who hasn't heard my music before to get a vibe for me and the energy that I deliver.
I love it. We'll do Fake Gravity then. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming on. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, Austin, it was amazing talking with you as well. Loved hanging out with you and looking forward to seeing you in Fayetteville, man.
Yeah. And thank you to all the listeners. You know what to do. Wait, other direction. Follow Mark on all the socials. Go listen to his music. Go stream the new song. Go stream the old stuff. Follow do the things at the bottom or at the top. I don't know. There's so many different platforms this thing goes on. Sometimes it's to the side. I don't know. You'll find the buttons to do the things. So go do the things. And
do the things, yeah.
Goodbye, everybody. This was episode 73 of the Mullins Over Music Podcast with your host, producer, and editor, me, Austin Mullins. Special thanks to guest Mark Winters. The closing track is Fake Gravity by Mark Winters. Check him out at Mark Winters Music on all socials and listen to the music wherever you find and listen to your music. Also check out Mark Winters on the Acoustic Spring Tour he is doing. You're going to love the intimate vibes and the fun music. I know I will. Thanks to Mark for being a fan of the podcast, being on the podcast, and being such a fun, positive guy to chat with and be friends with. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can check out our merch at the link in the description. Also, check out the Patreon when that opens up this month for exclusive content, fun polls, early access to episodes, and other fun things. Special thanks to viewers like you. Thank you, and until next time.
Vertigo can take a backseat. You make me lose control. You're like too much of a good thing, and I won't let go. And if the full moon changes the tides, let it pull your body to mine. I can feel our worlds collide when you whisper close. I'm accelerating out of reality. Maybe gravity's fate. You lift me up, you hold me down. It don't make sense, but it's truer now than any force on earth. Too strong to break. And if you're really real, maybe gravity's fate. I'm like metal to a magnet. It's like air, but I can grab it. And I'm down with the static. I stay shocked by the way You lift me up, you hold me down. It don't make sense, but it's truer now than any force on earth, too strong to break. And if you're really real, maybe gravity's fake. Maybe gravity's fake.